All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Al Lee, the COO from Onchain Custodian. Please give him a big round of applause.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting for my slides. But I'm Al, CEO of Onchain Custodian. We're a digital asset custody provider, basically facing with institutional clients, corporate, and accredited investors based out of APAC. We're based and headquartered in Singapore. So in line with today's topic about Revolution 4.0, I'm going to share a bit more about my thoughts in terms of the token economy, as well as safekeeping of digital asset. Now, let's take a look at the current state of matters in the world. We have about 7.4 billion world population right now, out of which 4.3 billion are active internet users. Now, at the end of 2018, we have about 35 million crypto verified users. That is a staggering low adoption rate of 0.5% of total world population and 0.7% of active internet users. Now, the good news is that it's actually coupled with very high growth rate. From 2017 to 18, you're looking at more than 50% growth in terms of numbers. That shows you a good potential in this market. If we take a step back and look at the time series of internet users, 35 million verified users is equivalent to what we had back in 1996 with internet users, about 36 million of those. It took us 22 years to get to 4.3 billion. Now, I think that the evolution of blockchain as well as the token economy will follow a very similar trend where we will be seeing the evolution from protocols to applications like what we have today, Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that. So in the blockchain space, we're now seeing developments in terms of second layer implementation, dApps and stuff like that, as well as more sophisticated financial instrument. All this will eventually drive adoption rate up. Now, where we are today, looking at the crypto market, in year to date, the market has gone up in terms of market cap, 150%. We now have over $300 billion worth in terms of market cap. This is on the back of a slew of very positive news in the market. Major players such as Microsoft, Facebook, they have all come into the industry looking at blockchain deployments as well as utilization of tokens in their models. Those are great news. Now, on top of that, we've seen a new interesting trend this year, which is recently in the devaluation of yuan. You've seen that the prices of Bitcoin shot up overnight. Now, this is an interesting macro trend where we are seeing support for a digital, non-sovereign kind of digital format store of value over the fiat currency. And I think this is something we'll continue to see and be able to verify as the FX rate changes over time in the next few years. Now, that's really interesting. At the same time, of course, Bitcoin prices went up. The dominance has gone up across the board and against other alternative coins. So that's where we are in terms of crypto market updates. Now, but there are still many key hurdles in terms of adoption of cryptocurrency as well as blockchain. I think the key topics here are security, volatility, usability, interoperability, scalability, as well as regulations. Now, interestingly to point to is that in recent SharePost biannual survey of nearly 3,000 respondents, we have a 37% vote for security as one of the top concerns. Now, it remains a top concern. Why? Let me show you this slide. As the value of digital asset increases, there are actually more theft attacks and heists acted upon on these owners of assets. Now, since 2011, we have seen over $1.5 billion worth of asset being stolen from exchanges and investors. That tells you why security is one of the top concerns for all these investors. Just to name a few of those that recently been affected, Putrajaya and all that, you can see on the slide. Now, exchanges and their wallets are great for efficiency. They allow you and enable you to trade and settle on the spot on the day. But they're not so good in other forms in terms of transparency and stuff like that. Now, of course, investors can also look to self-custodize their assets using hardware wallet, paper wallet, software wallet. That's in the middle. Well, in the last 2 years, the interesting trend is that custodians and independent third-party asset holders are actually popping up across the board. Now, they do much better in terms of giving you risk management, transparency, diversity of your asset. And over time, I believe the industry will evolve such that they be perfect in all other areas. The response in terms of custodians to the market and coming out, it's really a response to the challenge in the market, right? Where we have seen a growth of the asset class, concerns over audit trail, management of the private key. And all this has resulted in opportunities in the market where players like yourself or even a ministry over here in this room should take a look at how do you actually ensure that the asset owners or the retail players have their asset well capped, right? And over here, clearly the answer here is custodians and independent third-party asset managers. Right? In traditional equity space or bond space, you've seen similar structure as well. They're known as the clearinghouse or custodians in the market. And over here, in today's market, you have over 20 providers that are able to provide this kind of custodian services, whether is it in terms of technology or is it just as a service. That's in the top box over there at the left-hand corner. Of course, Onchain Custodian is one of the providers over there, and we're proud to be doing that for the industry. This is a quick overview of how our platform looked like. It's really intuitive. For those who are interested in our service, happy to share more with you. Feel free to approach us. We have a booth next door. But I won't touch so much on that. But quickly, just to cover what our platform has, we utilize multi-signature wallet. We have customizable roles, which means that in your organization, it's our platform fitting to your organization structure, not the other way around. We also have institutional-grade controls and security measures in place, so you can place your asset with us and be sure that be rest assured that it's safe. Right. At the same time, we are proud that we are being able to provide digital agnostic facility here. What that means is that if you have an ERC20 token, we can onboard that. If you have an NEP5 token, we can onboard that. Come what may, whatever standard you would like to onboard with us, just let us know your requirement, and we'll work towards that. So that's why our solution is really built to be flexible and reliable at any times, just to deliver that seamless user experience to you guys. So again, we will booth next door. Feel free to approach us. Our safe custody solution really branches into two aspects. We have co-managed solution and a full custody solution. Now the key difference here is in the co-managed solution, you as a client handle part of the private key, and in a full custody solution, we handle all the keys for you. There's a clear trade-off between control versus security over here. Just for data and statistics purposes, most of our clients actually have opted for full custody solution. Right, so in looking for a custodian, I think trust is very important. So for us, Onchain Custodian is trusted solution provider led by highly experienced management team, each with more than a decade worth of experience. Our board of chair, Mr. Da Hong Fei, is here as well today. Myself, the COO of the company, and our sort of management team comes from consulting management background as well as payments background and investment banking. Now, along with us, we are supported by very good institutional shareholders and Chain Holdings, Sequoia Capital, Fosun, DHVC, and definitely among the people and clientele that we've spoken to, they're rest assured that their assets are safe with us, given the institutional support that we have. We are also a very active member in Singapore SFA, Global GDF, and Assess. On the left-hand side, I just want to bring this page up, which is about the clienteles and partners that we work with. It's a broad perspective, broad spectrum, including OTC players, market makers, other custodians, as well as exchanges. So if you fall into any of these categories and you're not with us yet, please approach us to have a chat. And this is the point where you should bring out your handphones. Why? Because that's my contact information. Take a snapshot of the QR code. Come talk to me. Great. I see a lot of handphones coming up. Perfect. Do that. I'll pause for 5 seconds. I have actually 1 minute more. So I'm just going to do this and be a bit shameless about my face over there. All right, but in short, that's my background. Again, just to validate the fact that we are a very strong management team. We know what we are doing in terms of financial market, and you can be rest assured that in terms of KYC AML, we are at the gold standard. And there's a lot more to share with you about our platform, and I'd love to do that over a chat, coffee, or just at a booth next door. Last but not least, I'm going to leave it to the crew over there to play you a video from our firm. Enjoy it. And that's the end of my speech. Thank you very much.
Expect the unexpected, so the saying goes. With digital asset investments on the rise, so are the threats that follow. Private key hacks, inefficient operational setup, and security compromises. What guarantees safe harbor from the risks that a new landscape brings? Imagine this: a future-proof platform engineered and designed by experts to keep digital asset investments from the wrong hands. An institutional-grade solution forged to be flexible, responsive, and secure. You know this to be true. Expect the unexpected. That's why we keep your assets absolute safe.